Once a tenant moves out of a property, the next thing that has to happen is the landlord or the property manager have to go in and assess the condition of the property to determine if there are any damages that the tenant has caused while the time that they were living at the property. So the question, of course, becomes this: what is normal wear and tear versus actual damages? And these are questions that our property managers have to deal with and answer every single day. And of course, we have a lot of experience dealing with this, and so I thought I'd share with you a little bit about some of our knowledge in that area, so that it can help you as you're looking at your rental properties and trying to determine whether you should try to charge a tenant security deposit for a certain repair or not. So some of the common things that we see, of course, in properties are things like picture hangings. Oftentimes, and as is normal, a tenant comes into a property and they want to hang some pictures on a wall. And so typically you might see 3 or 4 small nail holes in any given wall where some pictures have been hung while that tenant's been living at the property. And that's normally perfectly fine. Generally we look at a few small holes for pictures as normal wear and tear. And that's our experience. That's what our experience has been in courts as well, when we've been challenged on those things. Now, occasionally we walk into a house and we see one wall where somebody had a whole collage of pictures. Maybe there's 30 or 40 nail holes in one wall. And even though those nail holes are small, obviously 30 or 40 small nail holes make that wall look pretty bad. And so in those cases, we have gone ahead and repaired those walls and painted those walls corner to corner and charged the former tenant with that repair, because we felt that those nail holes were certainly excessive and were beyond normal wear and tear. And as we've had opportunity to go to court on some of those things, we have found that the courts have ruled in our favor and agreed with us that something like 30 or 40 nail holes in a wall was certainly beyond normal wear and tear. What about carpeting? I mean, obviously, when people are in a home, they're going to walk on the carpet. And so it's natural for carpeting to have some normal wear and tear. But if you see something beyond normal wear and tear, such as large stains in the carpeting, or maybe carpeting has been worn out in a specific spot because of a piece of furniture that was put down, and so the carpeting has actually gone right down to the threads, or down to the subfloor even in some cases. Obviously, those are things that you should be looking to make some kind of a deduction from the security deposit. Now, it's important to remember that carpeting has an expected life in your rental property. And so just because that carpet was new 3 years ago and the tenant has created a big stain in the middle of the carpet in that bedroom, for example, you can't just charge them for the entire cost of replacing that brand new carpet in most instances. In most instances, you have to depreciate the value of that carpet over the 3-year period, and you can only charge the tenant for the remaining value of the life expectancy of that carpet. And the IRS has some great tools on their website to help with determining what the typical life expectancy is of certain components in your rental property, so that you know how to depreciate the value of what it is that you're having to repair, so that you only charge the tenant the appropriate charge. Because it's important to remember, you don't want to be guilty of withholding too much money from a tenant security deposit, because if you lose in court, the tenant, according to the South Carolina Landlord-Tenant Act, has the right to treble damages. In other words, they can get back from you or recover from you 3 times the amount that you wrongfully withheld. And of course, they may be asking for attorney fees or court costs or other things also. So you don't want to be on the losing end of a security deposit battle as a landlord. So, make sure that when you're looking at your rental property after that tenant has moved out, you're looking beyond just normal cosmetic things. You're looking for things that truly are damage that the tenant should have seen and known and could have and should have prevented. And you're only charging for the depreciated value to make those repairs in cases where you're having to replace things. I hope that information is helpful to you as you manage your rental properties. And again, if we can ever answer any questions for you here at New Heights Property Management, please don't hesitate to give us a call.